Hey, how you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? Grab my drink here and try not to spill it. So I have here, like I said in past videos, I'm trying to work through some stuff. I didn't realize I was right at the end of this, so I figured I better. Oh man, really love this whiskey though, and I thought I might get back there this year, but it's not going to happen. Um Ardent Spirits. These are buzzworthy. Limited release. I don't even know. They may not even have it anymore. That's why I bought it. But wish I had bought two of them. They're really good anyway. It's 114 proof, buzzworthy, limited release, 114 proof. Doesn't say bourbon, just whiskey, I guess. Finished. Oh no, it say bourbon whiskey finished in honey cast. There we go. Produced by Ardent Spirits of the Old Herald Brewery and Distillery, Collinsville, Illinois. But man, this stuff is so good. The reason I didn't buy more products from them, in all honesty, was because they were my very first stop on vacation. So I made myself only grab one product. And the reason I picked the Honey Barrel was because I didn't think I'd see another Honey Barrel whiskey on my trip, but I did. I did find another one at Echo Spirits, but nevertheless, I'm glad I bought this one because this one was insanely good. And here's the last about 2.5 ounces of it. It needs to be drank neat. It was, oh gosh, this stuff was so good. I really thought I was going to get back there this year. I mean, they're not all that far from where I live. Just under 4 hours. Just on the other side of St. Louis, just across the river there. They're not that far, but man, I'm not going to get there this year. But boy, even if I can't get to the other places I want to go next year, a little farther down the road, I need to at least get that far because I'm telling you, this stuff is insanely good. But I knew to check to see if they even have it anymore, to be honest with you, because it was a limited release. They may not even be making it, but they had other products that I wanted to buy or thought about buying. But again, I bought this one because, well, it seemed unusual, a honey barrel or honey cast finish at 114 proof. Oh, gosh. But when I tasted this stuff when I got home, oh my God. Oh, Tom, you should have bought two bottles. But again, it was the first stop, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money. Right? We had lunch there. I had a beer with lunch. Bought the one bottle to go. So okay, just and I kept telling myself, you're only allowed one bottle here because you got a whole vacation to go. Right? Yeah, this was the longest vacation we've ever taken. It was a total of 14 days. I know that doesn't seem a lot to a lot of folks, but for us, that was a long vacation. So I knew I needed to, use some restraint early on. But again, like I said, with the Neely family at the end of my trip, yeah, I wish I'd have bought more products from Ardent Old Herald because this stuff is so good. Honey Barrel, man, it ain't playing. No, but I didn't realize I was so close to the end because when I picked up the other whiskey earlier for the video, uh, I thought that was my when I had closest to the end. I saw this one. Oh, I really need to end this one. And honestly, that's probably why I'd been hanging on to it because I didn't want to end it. It was so good. Ardent Spirits. We had a great lunch there. I know they've had some issues with the restaurant and they've made some changes since we were there, but I didn't have any complaints with what they were doing at the time. I mean, we didn't order anything crazy. I mean, it was a sandwich, but it was good. But I mean, this stuff was rather amazing. The beer we had there was pretty good too. And I was going to get some beer there, and then I decided not to because they were only doing growlers. So I thought, well, we'll hit them at the end of the trip, and then I'll get some growlers in. But then we didn't. We kind of changed our plans, and I didn't stop at the end to get beer. But nevertheless, Long story short, I wish I had about more of this because it's really good, man. If you ever get to Ardent Spirits slash Old Harold Brewery and Distillery, yeah, oh my God. I need to look up to see if they still carry that Buzzworthy because this stuff is just wow. That honey barrel really talk to me, baby. Anyway, so you do feel those nice honey notes. I also feel like I'm picking up a hint of maple in there somewhere. There's a nice amount of barrel in the finish. You're gonna feel some vanilla that's running all the way through that from the vanilla, but those spice notes you're gonna pick up right at the end. Mm, cheese whiz and bacon, that's delicious. Cinnamon is typical. It's typically the first note you get, but sometimes I'll pick up some allspice. But here I get cinnamon, but in a slightly different way. I get more of like a cinnamon sugar like note. And a lot of folks don't realize that allspice and cinnamon, although similar, are different. And if you don't eat allspice or you don't use allspice, you're not tasting the difference between cinnamon and allspice. But I'm one of those cats that can. But here I will tell you, I am picking up more of that cinnamon note, but it feels like more of a like a cinnamon sugar. Like those of us of a certain age that would eat cinnamon sugar toast for breakfast because your parents were working, right? The 70s, free range parenting before it had a name. Free range parenting. I remember when I first started hearing about free range parenting, they talk about this like it's brand new. We were doing that shit 3 decades ago. Anyway, it's free range parenting, really? That was just called parenting when I was growing up. You stayed out of the house, left your parents alone until the street lights came on, and then you ran in the house, you had dinner, you took a bath, shower, or whatever, and then went to bed. That's how things were done back then. Everything was very precise, especially in a house like mine that had 5 kids. Everything was done. Yeah. There was a cycle, man. You had to do things in a very particular way. Usually it was the oldest to the youngest, and you really didn't. You really hoped you did get that dirty bath water. You were taking a shower as soon as you could, man. To get that clean water, baby. It, no, I'll tell them I'm going to take a shower. I don't know what the hell those other kids were doing in the water before I got here. Anyways, I digress. It was a different time. That's all I got to say. It was a different time, man. It did crack me up when I first started hearing about free range parenting. Though. It was like it was a brand new thing. These parents just let their kids run wild until they get home. They don't hover over them. They don't have a schedule. And I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with these other people? Why are they scheduling their kids so much that they have no free time at all? It did. I was the first time I saw a story on free range parenting. I'm thinking, the fuck is wrong with these people that aren't doing free range parenting? That's some bizarre shit right there. That's some serious control freak nonsense. Anyway, then I started hearing about tiger moms. Okay, whatever. Free range parenting. I would just call parenting back when I was growing up. They're going to turn out fine or they're not. They're going to live through the day or they're not. That's basically how the 70s were. They're gonna make it or they're not. And I won't go into particular details about my upbringing because most of you are gonna think I'm exaggerating. My brother-in-law like to tell stories. We'll get in crowds and we'll tell these stories, and people will think because of the way we're telling the story that we're embellishing things, and we are not. They'll start cracking up, and then we'll say, "No, that's I mean, that's not really fiction." Oh, mercy. Free range parenting. That stuff kills me. These parents actually let their kids go out from the second they get home from school, run the neighborhood, and don't think about them until they come home for dinner. That's a brand new thing. Were you folks not around in the 70s? I mean, what the hell? That's what the 70s were. You stayed, if your mom was a stay at home mom, you stayed the hell out of her house until the streetlights came on. If your mom was out working, and your dad was out working, well, you still stayed out of the damn house until dinner was ready or the street lights came on. Free range parenting. Again, back in my day, that was just called parenting. But apparently, you're supposed to keep a closer watch on your kids. I will be honest, I did raise my kids that way. I saw the flaws, and I lived with the flaws in that that particular program. So we raised our kids differently. But I mean, I don't know that one way is better than the other, to be honest with you. You can't hover over them all the time. That doesn't help either. I mean, being a tiger mom or whatever, I mean, I'm not sure how that helps. M- Scheduling your kids out so much so they don't have any free time whatsoever or any time at all to develop an individual personality. I think that's hurtful as well. I mean, I think that's an issue when you have your kids in this sport, that sport, and or this whatever that sport and this you got them scheduled so much where they don't have time to become an individual. That's not healthy either. The idea is to keep 'em so busy they don't have time to get in trouble. But if kids want to get in trouble, they're going to get in trouble. You're not going to keep people from trying things, and the harder you try to keep them from that, the more they're going to gravitate for towards that. If you make it available, then it's not going to be as taboo. I was not going to say that's going to work either, but I will tell you, I'm the fourth of five. Alcohol was readily available in my house. My parents did not make it a taboo. Of the five kids, I'm the only one that really, really likes it. Really, really. But I will tell you, I had a neighbor of some very religious fanatics. Um, and he probably got into a lot of worse shit than I did because they made sure, or they thought they made sure that he couldn't. So I don't know. There's a right way or a wrong way. I just think you have to be open and honest. I think what a lot of folks don't realize is that every kid is different, right? No matter how you raise them, they're going to come out different. You can have one specific approach, and it's not going to work for both kids. For me, I was in retail management a long time, and I learned that I couldn't treat every employee the same way. They want to say you got to treat everybody the same. No, you can't. Some employees need to be coddled, and some don't. Some you really need to push to get the best out of them. But you can't treat everybody the same way, and you got to be smart enough to learn how to treat each person. Being a parent is much more difficult than that because you're ingrained to be a certain parent from the way you grew up. I wish I'd have done a couple things different with each of my kids, but bottom line is, I mean, you work with the information you got and you do the best you can. And for whatever mistakes I feel like might have made with our oldest, our daughter, she turned out just fine. She's doing all right. Maybe a little different than her dad, but she's doing well. And for those of us that know us, we lost our son to cancer when he was 14. Anyways, Tom, you got morbid on us. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes the story goes, and I didn't expect it to go that way, but that's where the story went. Anyways, Ardent Spirits, Buzzworthy. Yeah, I bought this one because I didn't. I really, in all honesty, didn't think I'd come across another honey barrel. And literally the second stop after I found a honey barrel. But anyways, but the truth is, I only bought the one bottle because, yeah, like I said, it was the very beginning of our vacation. I didn't want to spend that much money. I said, let's just do this. We might hit them again, but then we kind of altered our our path coming back home, so I didn't get a chance to hit them back in. But maybe next year, yeah. But so the plus is I've been saying that I didn't get to go. I'm not going to get to go to what we had planned. But the secondary is pretty good too because I'm going to get to a brewery. Going to get to that was bad English. I'm going to get to go to a brewery that I've really been wanting to go to that I didn't think I'd be able to for a while. A friend of mine opened a brewery a couple of years ago, I guess. And I've been wanting to get out that direction, but there was no reason for us to go there. But having to alter our plans, I'm going to be able to get out there to visit that brewery and see an old friend. So I'm looking forward to that. So, and there's another old friend out there too that I haven't seen since 2014. So, there's a lot of pluses to the alternate plan as well. I'm looking. Let me just say, I'm looking as forward to that as the original plan. Now I get to see folks I wasn't planning on being able to see for a while, or ever again in some cases. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so wrap this neat up. And it did take me a little longer to drink this than I intended, not because it was hard to drink, because I talk a lot. But I do have a cocktail, so I'll be right back with a cocktail. Oh my goodness, that whiskey's so delicious. I'll be right back. Change my props around here. So, a friend gave me this wood hat, Montgomery County bourbon, and I believe it's 100 proof. Yes. I'm getting near the end of that as well. So I thought I'd do even though it's not necessarily in season, a black walnut or a maple old fashioned. So a maple old fashioned. What I got here is that whiskey. I've got a half ounce of bourbon barrel aged maple syrup that I picked up in Ohio last year. Mm. And some black walnut bitters. Now, if you want it sweeter, you can add a full ounce of that. But for me, a half ounce is plenty sweet. Because typically, if you're making an old fashioned, you're using a sugar cube or 1 ounce of simple. But that maple syrup is very powerful, especially this one that's bourbon barrel aged. So I only used a half ounce of. I've got that. I got a cherry and a cinnamon stick as a garnish. Oh, mercy. Yeah, I had to drink. I had to drink. I had to. I had to drink the rest of that Buzzworthy Neat. It was so amazing. That whiskey was so good. I had just a little over 2 ounces. I could have spread it out, I guess, into two pours, but I poured the 1 ounce. Oh, actually, I poured an ounce and a half in and said, "Oh fuck, we're just gonna pour the rest of it in there." That whiskey was so good. But this bourbon, Montgomery County bourbon from Woodhead is really good as well. Woodhead does some nice stuff. They're not everything is a winner for me, in all honesty, but when they do hit a home run, I mean, they hit a home run. This Montgomery County bourbon is very good at 100 proof. For me, is it a home run? No, but it's this very solid ground rule double. But they've got another one out there. Their Bloody Butcher band. The one I had from them. Oh my god, that was a solid home run. Oh, good gravy. Ah, damn bugs. Damn bugs. The hell that motherfucker come from anyways. Anyway, this is my bad. So this is more of a, even though it looks similar to a damn fly, uh, uh, coupe. It's really not. It's more of a Nick and Nor, even though it's similar to a coupe. It's a little smaller though than your standard coupe. But I do like the glass. I just have to be careful what I put in it because it doesn't hold quite as much as your standard coupe. But I like the etching on the glass. It's just a nice glass. One of those my wife found for me. My wife enables my my glassware addiction. I have a glassware addiction. There needs to be an A, there needs to be a group. Yeah, I have a GA glassware. I have a glassware addiction. I have to buy stuff. But my wife enables me. I will buy glassware even though I don't need it. I have nowhere to put it. I have no idea where it's gonna go. But if I can find a whiskey glass, a beer glass, cordial, I mean any kind of glass, really, I don't discriminate. I'm gonna buy it. My wife complains about my glassware addiction, but then she enables me and buys most of it for me. To be honest with you, she's the best. She's the best, man. Anyways, I digress. Uh, that buzzworthy, I gotta tell you, man. That buzzworthy. Oh, cheese wisdom big. I want to have one more cocktail with you. I already had this fixed up, or I would have ended that one right there. Ugh. Well, I hope everybody got through the holiday and has all their all their appendages still in. There's always going to be that one guy. You go back to work the next day, he's got 9 fingers now. Anyway, I just hope anybody didn't blow off any important parts. I don't really get into it much anymore. I've never been much of a fireworks guy, to be honest with you. I don't mind watching the shows, but the idea, I've never been one of those. I'm not a pyro that has to light stuff up. I don't really give a rat's ass. But now, but now. Anyways, let me wrap this up. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and so I'm showing you products here from Wood Hat and Ardent Spirits, both very small distilleries, and that's kind of my point. That's kind of what I'm about. Is a lot of whiskey guys are also craft beer guys, and when they're craft beer guys, they concentrate on local and small. But when they drink whiskey, they think completely different, and I've never quite understood that. It don't forget these small distilleries. They're struggling to survive. Support them. Forget about what these big distilleries tell you need to have and what's allocated and what's this and what's that and the other thing. Buy good product. Buy from these small distilleries. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte.